In this video, we discover if Longboy is the undiscovered meta. And oh my word, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Hello everyone, and welcome to a interesting video to say the least. So last week or a couple of weeks ago, depending on when you watch this, we had this Interlagos daily race C, and critically, it was a selected amount of cars. You can see it was the Nissan GTR LM Nismo, the Audi R18, which is covered by my mouse, the Toyota TS050, and of course the meta car, which was the Porsche 919, and we know that that was the meta car to be used. Well, the question is, why was no other car used? Now, you know that, and I sort of know that as well, but I was like, surely they can't be that bad to use. You know, if there were a couple of attempts off, I don't really mind. If they're a huge amount off, then there's a serious problem. Well, that's what this video is all about. How far off were the other cars? We're going to go into each one of them and do a race in each one of them, mostly, and we're going to see how far off they are from the Porsche 919. So doing the races just shows us the real speed differences between the cars. You know, is it a hybrid issue? Is it a turning issue? Is it just an overall issue? Who knows? Let's jump into those races then. We've got 4 races for you in this video. Or maybe not 4, but we've got 4 clips at least. Let's jump into the first one right now as we jump into Longboy, the Nissan GTR LM Nismo. Here we are then in the Nissan GTR LM Nismo. And first of all, you'll notice the hybrid already down low. So I didn't really know much about the hybrid system, to be honest with you. In fact, I went on my Discord afterwards to ask about the hybrid system. So you can see it's not regenerating as we drive, which is obviously one weakness compared to the Porsche, which does. And as we head into turn 1 then, hard on the brakes. And that hybrid system not really changing. I mean, it moved a tiny bit, but I couldn't really work out how to generate it. Even so, we continue through the lap here. You can see we've lost a little bit of time. I wasn't spending too much time in each car. It was just getting an idea of what we were doing. Obviously, we're chasing the rank 1 Ghost, heading in towards this left-hander. Slight mistake there from myself, but again, nothing major. Again, trying to work out this car to get an idea about what are the issues with it. And the main issue we can see is the hybrid system. Technically, at the moment, it isn't a hybrid. It's literally just what it is. And on top of that, it's a front-wheel drive car. So we're literally driving extremely slowly in this car. And imagine a tyre wear in this race. Well, it's not going to go according to plan, let's be honest with you. This car seems absolutely miles off. Absolutely miles off. So much so, the reason why I said not 4 races and you get 4 clips instead is that I decided I wasn't going to race this car because I just had no clue. So we're coming around this last corner now then and heading up there. You can't even see the Ghost, it's that far in the distance. But again, I'm not too worried about the Ghost. That's rank 1. That's putting a lot of effort and time. The whole idea is just to get a feel for each car. And we can see that, you know, as we jump into each one, we get a feel of how it handles, etc. So I will jump back into the Nissan a little bit later on in the video as we get 21-2 there. And again, we're going to go a bit deep into here. Again, I'm just trying to work out the hybrid. I don't get it. There's a hybrid there, but it doesn't work. And I don't understand how it works. So I'm going to come around here. And again, I'm just going to have a little bit of a play and see what happens. So I'm going to lift off. Nothing's happening. So I'm like, I have no idea. So I literally just stop the car. And we'll jump into the Audi. Here we are then with the Audi. We're starting at the back. So I did set a time, but obviously it's not that quick. I was just literally practicing each car for about 5 minutes before each race. Now you can see we're using the hybrid very quickly now. In GT Sport, the hybrid in this was very aggressive and very quick. However, it appears in GT7 is about equal with the Porsche there as we head into turn 1. We didn't really gain anything on the Porsche, even though the hybrid in this car is much harder to use. So going through this left-hander then, we can see we're not generating anything like other cars where they do generate irrespective. And heading down here, it uses the hybrid up to a certain point and then stops. So we've still got some hybrid left. We generate under braking, which is good. Much better than the Nissan, because the Nissan didn't generate any at all. I still do not understand how that hybrid actually works. So we go a bit further on, and you can see my hybrid is actually depleted there. So we are generating under braking. However, we don't generate enough through a lap. Now, there are people who race Gran Turismo. Oh, somebody's off there. Is there somebody else off? I'm pretty sure there is when I edited this. Yeah, there they are. So up into P13. But with the hybrid, there are people who are better than me at harvesting the hybrid system throughout a lap, okay? So there may be a way, and you're about to see here with P14, who's catching me up at like the speed of sound here. There may be better ways to generate the hybrid. There may be better people to keep the hybrid up there, but it's so much harder to do. As you've seen here, the Porsche used all that hybrid down the inside at the left-hander. Going to get that job done. They may have had different tyres as well. Remember, there's mediums and softs in this race. But we continue on through there, a little bit dirtier, and out the corner we go. Now, with the hybrid system, it uses just the front wheels in terms of when it goes. If you remember back to GT Sport, literally you get a load of understeer when the hybrid came on in this car, like literally tons, and then it would set itself down. Literally the front just spin its wheels because that hybrid system was so aggressive in GT Sport. Now, we're going to come in the pits here because our tyre wear is like pretty good, to be fair with you, in this car. So coming in a lap earlier than normal, straight to the soft tyres. We are also going to look at whether the AI hits the wall like it does in the Porsche. You'll see that again later on. It does, but not the front right-hand corner, this time the middle of the car. But critically, the problem with this car that we are seeing right here in this race, we're not getting enough hybrid. We're seeing cars just come up to us, go barreling past us as we overtake another car with a penalty there, and just fly past us. Even though we have a bit of a tyre advantage, because the hybrid isn't being used fully here, obviously the front wheels are not literally wearing as much. The rear wheels have no hybrid, so that, they don't wear as much either. Obviously, you do get a bit of wheel spin here, there, and everywhere in this car as we go through this left-hander. You're about to see that there, just from the dirty air. We catch it very nicely. Then hybrid works, then it stops, and then that's when the Porsche just disappears into the distance. Just seeing that with the time there, up to 8 temps, and then it's up to 9 temps. It just goes. And as you'll see later, we'll see how the hybrid works there for the Porsche. In fact, look behind, look in the rearview mirror. We've got the Finnish driver who had a penalty earlier on. Straight down the inside, the Finnish driver goes. We are on the soft tyres now as well, so it's evens if we're both on soft tyres. And through we go here, right behind them. Obviously, a bit of dirty air there. Nothing we can do about the dirty air. But that hybrid system, it's just not there. We had, what, a third of the bar? And we really need a little bit more there to fully utilize it as we head in towards this left-hander then. We did stay with the Porsche there, which was nice. And as we come through here, oh, they make a mistake, actually. Here we go then. We've got a bit of a move on here. We've got Stefanos, who may have been on soft tyres earlier on. I can't really tell. But look in this. Round the outside we go on the soft tyre. Are we going to get this done? What a move there. So in terms of the Audi being... well, as a car, really good handling car there. We managed around the outside. Very hard going to go around the outside. We did that very nicely. A bit of contact there behind between those two. So we're in P13 at the moment as we go through this left-hander. And as we see somebody get reset there. So we go up to P12, which is happy days indeed. And we advance a bit further on. We see a yellow flag there. So we enter the yellow flag zone. Overtaking is prohibited. Where is this mysterious car as we go through this left-hander? There it is indeed. Twitch KOYO. Off there. So P11. But the critical thing with Sin here is the hybrid. We can't generate enough hybrid. It's very hard to generate hybrid in this car as we advance towards the last lap here. So very difficult car to drive in general. We could definitely do a bit better of a strategy. We could have got 1 lap extra on softs, but it doesn't make up the difference of that hybrid power. Hybrid just showing how dominant it is. So, yeah, we're coming P10th there. We could definitely do better in the Porsche. We'll see that later on. But next up is the Toyota. Here we are then with the Toyota TS050. Obviously, everybody else in Porsches, as we know, it is the meta car. And we're going to, once again, focus on the hybrid and then discuss all the strengths and weaknesses of this car in comparison to that Porsche. So we're going to head towards turn 1. We've got hybrids, which is good. We're not generating it as we accelerate. Generate it as we brake. We're braking. We're still generating it as we go around the corner here. That was half throttle-ish. The second we go full throttle, it doesn't generate it. The second we're away from full throttle, it generates it. Now that is good. So even when we change gear briefly, it happened, which is good. As you can see, we've gotten really low on the hybrid, but there's still some there, which means we didn't use all of it. Again, notice as we rolled a little bit there, we generated hybrid, which is good. So obviously, it's easier to generate hybrid in this versus the Audi, which makes it an easier car to drive. It means it can get closer to the Porsche. Now, as we go through this race, we'll see how strong that hybrid is compared to the Porsche. It is an all-wheel drive hybrid, so it does impact all the other tyres. But obviously, it won't be as aggressive as the Audis, for example, in terms of the power it releases. Or I don't believe so anyway. It certainly wasn't the case in GT Sport, but we'll find out as we go through here. So we are generating enough hybrid here to compete with the Porsche, which is good. It's brilliant to see. It does mean that the Toyota is at least viable. We'll say viable for now as we exit this corner then. We accelerate out of there. Is that hybrid going to go all the way to 0? That is the question. Oh, there's a tiny bit there. There is a tiny bit there. So that is good. Look, we're competing with a Porsche, but that Porsche just accelerating away a little bit here in terms of that upper end of the speed, it seems, as we head towards turn 1 again, as we get really close. Oh, we get really close to the driver up ahead. I think that's a Luxembourg flag. Do not quote me on that one. But yes, we do get quite close. But we are in a race, which is nice. We're in a good race here in the Toyota versus the Porsche, which at least does make it viable, which I kind of like, you know. I don't like the fact that there was just one car. Oh, what a move! Oh, that was a send it off from that driver there. He certainly went for it. And now we're side by side with the Spaniard Martin as we go into this right-hander. That's not going to quite work out. We've got Sergi going on the inside. Gives me just enough room there. Beautiful racing in towards the right-hander we go. And then we're going to have the left-hander now. Can we keep his position? They go round the outside. There's beautiful effort here. We leave that corner. We're still side by side. Now we stay sort of level there. Porsche slightly increasing on the inside. But they're going to get that move done. Really well played there by Sergi. Shout out to you. Brilliant, brilliant racing there as we leave that corner. And we head towards the last corner then. And we are line astern. Through we go. We accelerate out of there. And it looks pretty even as we advance a bit further on then. Sergi. Oh, Sergi's gone off then. Sergi's gone off. We look down the inside of Sergi. And are we going to get that done then? Oh, they brake early. So they've realizing they have dirty tyres. They decide it's better to just back out of that for now and fight another day. Fair play to you. Brilliant racing with you there. Let's see if we have a bit of racing later on as we're there with Martin. So what we're seeing from this car then is that it can race the Porsche. And we're seeing that here as we accelerate. Let's see then what happens here. We've just got a tiny bit of hybrid there, so we did use it all. That Porsche just pulling away then. We're in the slipstream here, so the Porsche has a better setup. Definitely on the top end. Remember, we're in slipstream. I don't think they are. Not really. So we should have been able to catch them there, and we didn't, which is showing that the Porsche is the stronger car then in terms of that top speed. As we go through this corner, oh, a little bit of a tap there. Apologies. Did not mean to do that. Was not expecting the slowdown that we saw. But it's all fine. You're still ahead, and we continue racing. Now, what we are going to do, as we see, well, I don't know what's going on up ahead, we are going to head into the pits because our tyre wear looks very, very nice indeed. Even better than the Audi, which is surprising. But if the Audi does have a slightly more aggressive front-end hybrid, because all the hybrid power is going in the front end rather than shared across all 4 wheels, then that is expected. The AI still hits the wall like an absolute weapon, so we can't do much there. But as I say, with a hybrid, you know, the Audi is just the front wheels. The Toyota is all 4 wheels. So obviously the aggression on the front wheels isn't happening, but the tyre wear at the rear has an impact then, okay? So we're definitely seeing a difference there, and that allowed the Toyota to pit 1 lap earlier. We'll see how well that lasts at the end of the race. Now, I actually catch up to Stefanos here again. Now, we had a brilliant race in the previous one with that driver. Let's have a brilliant race again. So they're defending on the inside. Beautiful stuff. Now, I've had a feeling at the time they had the same strategy. So they started on the soft, went to the medium. I'm now on the soft, and they are now on the medium tyre. So through we go. And let's have a look at the power difference then. So the hybrid working well here. We're pulling away initially from that Porsche. And the Porsche is going to get into my slipstream. And then look at that. So it looks like the Porsche might actually use a little bit more hybrid for a little bit longer there. Because suddenly it got a bit of a boost. Get down the inside. They managed to make the space work as well, which is brilliant from them. In towards turn 1 we go. Now, I did say that, you know, there are better people at managing the hybrid than me. As we go and look around the outside. Is this going to work? Around the outside here. I'll talk about the hybrid in just a second. Through we go. And yeah, we've just got a bit of hybrid there. So it's even. So it's just, I don't think I've just got enough hybrid at the end, maybe. Maybe that's the issue. As we're side by side into this left-hander. Beautiful racing here. Oh, this is beautiful, Stefanos. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. We've got another car coming into play. They go towards the left-hand side. Tap me towards the right. Tap Stefanos there. Pushed him out really wide. Another tap there from Kyoyo and in towards the right. And then another tap. That is just bad driving. That is absolutely bad driving there from Kyoyo, the French driver. They really need to give that position back. We go around the outside of Stefanos there as they've been off. With salt look down the inside. That's not going to quite work for us. But yeah, dreadful driving there from Kyoyo. Do not go check them out on Twitch because, yeah, you've just seen the actions there. Didn't give the position back where they hit the same person 3 times there. Now, we hit them, but we back out of this completely, which is what you should do when you hit somebody. They made the corner. They just broke a little bit early, it appears, as we advance a bit further on. So, heading in towards this last corner, and You can see the hybrid not quite there. So we do need a little bit more hybrid as we overtake somebody who's had a bit of an off. We need more hybrid at the end of the race. So there are people better than me at managing the hybrid, which will be able to do that, which would make this car viable. And quite a good viability, I would have said, in that group of cars, because they could pit a lap earlier. As you see, the soft tyres just make it to the end. Maybe we should have gone a lap longer on the mediums. I'm not too sure. But we came 10th, and we had a good race with the Porsches that time. So Toyota is viable just, I would say, but the Porsches just got a little bit more of an advantage. Let's have a look at the Porsche then, and let's see that advantage. Here we are then with the Porsche. So everyone's in the Porsche for this one, because I'm in it too. Right, let's see what happens then as we kick off. Now, like the Toyota, the Porsche has all-wheel drive hybrid system. And unlike the Toyota, it seems to have a bit better top-end speed, or at least getting towards it. As long as you don't use 7th gear, obviously. When you use 7th gear in this car, it just dies for whatever reason. Right, we have Stefanos up ahead of us again. We had a brilliant race so far with the Belgian driver, so let's see what happens with this final one as we head towards left hand. You notice how we're staying a bit closer here. I don't know if it's dirtier, is less impactful on this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking into it a bit too much there. They got a little bit deep here through the left hand. We got oh no! I got a little twitch. They got a little twitch. They went to the right. Exit stage right. I met Barry. Oh, now we're side by side with Campos behind us here as we continue on through there in towards the braking zone. And you can see that hybrid down that left hand side. It's full. It's full. Literally, the Porsche has no issues with hybrid whatsoever. So obviously, we start with the first car, which had loads of issues. As we look down the inside of Richie, releases the brakes there, goes a little bit deep. Going to be side by side potentially through this corner. We try and get the cut back. Not going to quite work as we continue on. So the hybrid system is nice and easy in the Porsche. Toyota, fairly okay. It's a bit more tricky. You don't get all of it done, so you are going to have to manage it a teeny tiny bit. The Audi, you have to manage it a lot, and the Nissan, well, does anyone know how to work it out? I don't know. Rich T there going a little bit wide, so we take full advantage of that up into P12. And you can already see how this race is developing far, far better than in any of the other cars. That hybrid just works a treat in this Porsche at this circuit. So as we go in towards the right-hander, slight tap from the rear. I think Campos is on the softer tyres. I could be wrong with that statement. Oh, a little bit of oversteer there. I said in the guide, don't touch the curb. I touched the curb. Campos goes down the inside. A little bit too deep. So I left the door open there for them to go a little bit too deep. And I retake that position as we catch up to Mikel at 86. And, oh, Ancient Pleb there with a penalty, the Indian driver. We see them in a few videos, so shout out to you. We go down the left-hand side there and take that position up into P11. But as I was saying, this race is developing how you would expect it when everyone's in the meta car and the cars can compete equally amongst each other. So we're right behind Mikolat here as we go through here. Now, a few people were doing the 6 on mediums and 8 on softs. I am sticking to the 7-7. I think the last lap on softs, if you do 8 in the Porsche, is a little bit deadly, especially if you're stuck behind for stuck behind somebody for quite a while. So we come in the pits, of course we do. And we get those tyres on. So what we're looking for in the pits, well, like we did on all the previous ones, does it hit the barrier? Now, we do know it does hit the barrier as we come through here. Little hit there, and we carry on. So that's a bug, which I don't think it's been reported, actually, so I will report it, that the AI in all Group 1 cars seems to hit the pit wall. Now, we see Mikolat there. We also see Sebastian, who we didn't see before, as we head in towards this left-hander then. What can we do? Drop to place the fact that Sebastian's gone ahead of us, I think. So through the left, so Sebastian coming from the further back. I don't actually know what's going on there. All right, let's head in towards this right-hander. Sebastian goes a little bit deep as we try and keep that pace up. We have to lift off a little bit more because Sebastian's on the outside. Now we're on the inside for this corner then. Beautiful side-by-side in towards left-hander we go. Room on the left, but they clip the curb and they go for a spin. Unfortunate to see, but a good racing all the same, Sebastian, as we are now up into P10 after the pit stops have all finished. So that was actually 4th position. Sebastian was ahead of us then, as we're behind Mikolat's then. Oh, I have to lift a little bit there. Mikolat's defending that. Now, obviously, their tyres are 1 lap older. Well, technically, with the tyre wear, it's 9 laps, I think it is. I can't remember the exact tyre wear that this race had. But that move didn't happen, and we lost out in terms of dirty air. So we're catching back up to the Spaniard who goes a little bit too deep, feeling the pressure from TC_TC. Oh, slight tap there. Now, I would argue that's a little bit my fault because I came across But I think it was more netcode in the fact that I was just ahead, but according to the server, I wasn't. But it's all good. We catch it. They gave me room to catch it as well. So brilliant racing with Michelats there. I had no issues with that at all. It was just one of those things. Racing incidents at the end of the day. But oh my word, I can't believe I managed to catch that. Unbelievable stuff. Right, we continue on through then, and we are right behind them here, obviously in the same car. We have no issues with top speed, and we do look at catching up to them in slipstream, looking down the inside then, heading towards turn 1. Look at that second red canopy that I always talk about, and we get the car stopped. Beautiful stuff. Up into P9 then for us as we go through there and continue round the left-hander. Right, let's advance towards the end then, where we see No, and this name seems to ring a bell from being a dirty driver, but apologies if it's not you. But yeah, I seem to remember that driver for some strange reason. Anyway, we're on the last lap. Unless we get some super duper slipstream, it's not going to happen. See the hybrid there, stays full. So yeah, it is what it is in terms of that. And we are going to get our best result in the Porsche, which is expected. It was our best race. We also got our fastest laps in the Porsche. So obviously the Porsche is the king of the meta. But the Toyota, slightly viable. You know, if you're a really fast alien and you want to race in the field, you probably could use the Toyota. But the other cars doesn't work because of the hybrid. The hybrid is king, and we've seen that the hybrid is king, really. You know, the easier it is to gain the hybrid, the easier it is to race the cars. And literally, that's why Group 1, in my opinion, is a bit all over the place. Now, speaking of all over the place, I did try something unique, and it didn't quite work out. Here we are in the Porsche, and more importantly, if you look down in the bottom left-hand side, there it is zoomed in, we're on intermediate tires. So I was like, okay. The hybrid is obviously a main issue that we've discovered in this video, in terms of that the hybrids are just too OP. Like, the second you got hybrid power, it's way too overpowered. I was like, can the intermediate-tired Porsche, well, can that beat the Nissan in terms of a lap? So I decided to do 3 laps on the intermediates, just so I could get used to it a little bit. Obviously, it's a bit slidey. You can see I'm gaining and losing time here, there, and everywhere. And there's more time in this lap. You don't get me wrong. And we'll have a look at the Nissan lap in a second. But I thought I'd do some closing thoughts here first of all. I don't know how it's possible to even balance performance, Group 1. I really do not understand it. Because, as we've seen in this video, the hybrid system is so overpowered. Now, the Toyota and the Porsche, obviously, they seem to be able to have a fairly good race. I think the Porsche's slightly OP versus the Toyota. And that could be balanced, those two cars, the Toyota and the Porsche. But all the other cars, the second you have no hybrid, it's a serious issue. Now, I don't know why these cars were selected other than that they're the same year of racing, essentially, in terms of LMP1, and that's why they were selected. But I'd like to hope that they would have balanced it when they selected the 4 cars. And that's the thing I got confused of most with this week's racing. As we head towards the line, just quickly then, we get a 1:23.3, which is miles off the pace, obviously. 5 seconds off my record there. 5 seconds slower in the Porsche. Here we are in the Nissan. I'm going to do one more lap. We're on the racing soft tyres. So, and there's obviously very little hybrid. But there was 4 cars selected for this daily race. 2 of them are not viable in the slightest. So why pick them? Why put them there? Why not just pick the 2 that are remotely viable, the Porsche and the Toyota, and actually balance them? Balance them so they're very close in terms of racing. That way, at least you could have a mixture of a grid, you know, the Porsche versus the Toyota. It's kind of a nice battle in the grand scheme of it, isn't it? And then try and... I don't know how... I say try and fix the Audi. I don't know how you fix the Audi. And this Nissan, I do not have the foggiest idea how to drive it, how to get the hybrid. I tried all sorts. I asked in Discord. Nobody knew. Nobody knows how it works. A bit like Nissan to some extent. But, you know, hey, let's not go there. So, yeah, it's just... I don't get it. I really don't get it. And it makes me question the daily race settings in a nutshell, really, because somebody has actively chosen these 4 cars, knowing that 2 of them are not viable in the slightest, and that between the other 2, there is one dominant power there, and that power is the Porsche. So, yeah, an interesting one. The hybrid does need to be looked at in the grand scheme of it, because it's the hybrid that's causing all the issues at the moment in terms of balanced performance in Group 1. Now we're going to head towards the line then in the Nissan Longboy. How far off actually is it? It's still, you know, 2 seconds off my record and however many seconds off the actual overall record. So it's huge, really. Bearing in mind I was only 5 seconds on the Porsche, intermediate to the soft. This is Nissan. We're literally only 3 seconds off Porsche. So it's 2 second difference there, which is huge over a lap. that's it anyway for this video, folks. I do hope you enjoyed this video. You had racing action, a discussion point, everything mixed into one there. Do give it a like on the way out if you did like it. Subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. But that's going to be it for me now, folks. Au revoir, farewell, and have a good day wherever you are in the world.